Hey everyone, this is a example individual presentation that I put together. I'm using a screen capture software called Screencast-O-Matic. In this video, I will be debunking the media bribe video that circulated during the last federal election. First, let me give you a little bit of context. The video purports to show that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau admitted bribing the media. The context is actually a series of tax credits for news media the Liberal government announced in 2019. It's a tax credit for the salaries of journalists, it's charitable status for some nonprofit news organizations, a 15% tax credit for Canadians who have digital subscriptions to news sites. All told, we're looking at credits that over 5 years are going to be worth around $595 million. In order to be eligible, these Canadian organizations have to be focused on original news content. And the government thinks it's important because digital advertising revenue is higher than television, newspaper, and radio ads combined. So the internet age has been really tough on newspapers. So that's why they're putting forward this policy. Now, the video that's been circulating looks like this. So in this video, the accusation is that the tax credit policy was in fact a media bribe to get positive coverage for the Liberal Party. And the comments kind of show how people received this. Biggest liar in Canadian history, most corrupt PM this country has ever had. Trudeau should be in prison. Amazing that he brags about it. He's worse than mafia, drug dealers, criminals, etc. And versions of this video have been viewed at least 250,000 times, so it's pretty intense. We see here that it was also subject of a Facebook ad campaign launched by Canada Proud. They spent about somewhere between 100 and 500 bucks on it. They got about 50,000 views on Facebook. And the framing is always the same. We're supposed to be angry. There's a little angry emoticon here. Arrogant Trudeau brags about bribing the media with your money. So, is this clip for real? Well, technically, yes. The clip of Trudeau is really edited from something called the Press Gallery Dinner, which is held annually in Ottawa. It's a bit like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where press and politicians kind of come together and are expected to poke fun at themselves. So they make some jokes. If you want to see, there's very funny, the Obama 2016 White House Correspondents' Dinner. You can find it on YouTube. It's actually pretty hilarious. So the context of the video is that Trudeau's making a joke at his own expense. Now, the joke isn't very good because, you know, it's Canada. But why don't we just watch the original context here? It's a All right, so you don't get stellar headlines like these. So the joke is there's kind of a mismatch and incongruity between these really negative headlines. Justin Trudeau's tampering with Canada's brand. He's lost a moral mandate to govern. And this accusation that the tax credits, in fact, constituted a media bribe. So in analysis, I think this video is really selectively edited and misleading. You won't believe what Justin Trudeau was just caught admitting on camera. So we have like a outrage and curiosity gap here and an appeal to emotion. So there are obviously legitimate criticism of this policy, but this video clearly is misleading. It was pushed by a group called Canada Proud. They probably spent about $100,000 running these sort of ads in the 2019 federal campaign. This comes mostly from private industry, party fundraisers. So is it a trustworthy source? Probably not. This is not coming from an investigative news organization. It's coming from an opposition party research organization. So you probably shouldn't trust it too much, which is why kind of looking into these things is really important. Is it true, though? Does a tax credit policy result in better coverage? Well, the following newspapers endorsed the Conservative Party and Andrew Scheer in 2019: the National Post, Montreal Gazette, Ottawa Citizen, and Toronto Sun. The most popular newspaper in the country, the Globe and Mail, didn't endorse anyone. The Liberals were only endorsed by the Toronto Star and the Hamilton Spectator. So it does not seem that newspapers are particularly biased for the Liberal Party as a result of this tax credit policy that was called a media bribe. So, in conclusion, the tax credit policy is really there to help the newspaper industry struggling to cope with the digital economy. Sure, it raises important questions about who should be eligible for the tax credit and who chooses. It might politicize journalism. Some people have expressed concerns about that. But this selectively edited video is really deceptive and lacks the context for the joke. It really misdescribes the policy, and the narrative of bribery and corruption is designed to generate engagement and outrage through these strong emotions. So that's my example of a kind of quick debunking of a misleading or fake news article. I hope you find it useful for your own individual presentations, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday for our first live stream.